Dive. Dive.
Code red and 4 compartment middle level.
Torpedoes in the water!
No, I never have thought I was smart. I thought the people I dealt with were dumb, including you.
Welcome everybody to the Too Fast, Too Fast podcast.
I was waiting for the numbers to go up. We're back. We're back. Episode 30-something, I think, of the Too Fast, Too Fast podcast. The gang's back together finally.
Don't call
Happy
it
Father's Day. Mike, Dakota, happy Father's Day.
Kenny, you too, bud.
Happy Father's Day, Kenny.
Thanks. We had a good day.
Speaking of,
Watched the U.S. Open most of the day. Fantastic. Yeah, so not a ton of specific stuff I want to cover. I mean, obviously we've missed a bunch over the past, I think it's been, by the time this episode comes out, probably 50 days since we've put out an episode. But in big channel news, we've reached 65,000 views and kind of well over 500 subscribers now. So the channel keeps growing, even though we kind of took a break, which is fucking sweet. Like I said, I know we probably missed a lot over the last 50 days or however long it's been exactly when this comes out. But the two things that I really wanted to talk about in our world are the military parade that happened today and the kind of political unrest that's been happening, specifically the murders in Minnesota. And other than that, I don't have a whole lot of specific stuff. But the Army turned 250 on June 4th, I think. In June, they turned 250. And so to celebrate, we had a what's the centennial term for 250? Something, you guys know it?
Sanctuarial?
Bicentennial is for 200.
Yeah.
Sesquicentennial?
Semi-quincentennial.
Semi-quincentennial.
oh,
so
that's
halfway
the-
through 500
the thing
years.
you were
Yeah, halfway through 500. So they had a semi-quincentennial parade for the Army turning 250.
What are they going to do
And
for the Navy?
yeah, probably nothing, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to guess nothing. But JD Vance was talking about how the Army is the oldest branch of the military. And I was like, is that true? It's older than the Navy, which is by several months.
Mm-hmm.
Navy was, I don't know what the term, commissioned in October of 1775. And the Army was June. So, but anyway,
And
parade.
also, the Navy, I'm pretty sure, was like put on hold basically during the Jefferson administration, I think.
Oh, really?
Like we had like a drawdown or some shit.
Interesting.
So the term that you're thinking of, Kenny, is established. We established the Navy.
Yeah, that works. Established.
I think
Like,
that's the correct legal term that we
Like on Hollister
You-
clothing.
Yes,
Yeah,
T.
doesn't matter.
established.
U.S. Navy established 1775. Yeah. Hey, look, by all accounts, it looks like the parade was a total shit show. It rained. Didn't look like a whole lot of people were there. I couldn't help but get the feeling of like Cold War Russia propaganda, where it's like, let's show them how strong we want them to think we are. And North Korea. That's what it felt like to me. Was
Okay, I get the sentiment, but at the same time, I would lean less military advance because it looked like fucking shit. At least those dudes are like marching and stepping in time.
yeah, fair. But I just meant the whole event.
The spectacle.
Yeah, the spectacle of it felt very
Yeah.
let's show.
One thing that stuck out to me was they had Sherman tanks there.
Yeah,
It
they
was
did.
like I don't know if they were trying to represent like, oh, as we've done
I-
through the years or
There was
something.
a lot of them.
Last
Yeah,
time we
I
won
want
a
to
war.
say, because I didn't
Yeah.
look into it at all. I wanted to pretty much avoid it.
Can't say that.
Because it's Father's Day and weekend, and I'm not trying to get fucking upset about dumb
Yeah,
shit anymore.
Fair.
So, but yeah, the things that I did see about it, I mean, it looks like they went through all the major things that the Army has gone through, and all the major equipment upgrades and things that they went through over time. So that makes sense that they'd put some kind of stuff like that in. But for what it was extremely low energy.
Yeah, I saw a clip.
You know what I mean?
I saw a clip where all you can there's crowd, there is people there, but all you can hear is the old squeaky tank rolling down
Yeah.
the street. Nobody's
Dude,
cheering or anything.
It's like a South Park bit. It really was.
Yeah. There was no music, no cheering.
Yep.
It
Just
was
people
for
sitting on the
Trump's
side like
birthday.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it was for a bunch of stuff.
It's been planned. We've planned this for 250 years that we're
Wow.
going to do this.
Well, he did try. So Trump did try to have this same thing in his first term, and it just didn't happen for whatever the reasons were. But
Nobody
yeah,
wants to do it.
It didn't even go off without a hitch. The like finale was supposed to be the Army Golden Knight paratroopers jumping out and landing right by Trump, and it happened at the very beginning of the parade. Like one of the first things that happened. Yeah.
You know what they should have done? They should have hired fucking Macy's. Macy's knows a couple things about parades.
That's true.
Whether it's about military propaganda or not, they probably would have nailed it.
Yeah. And
Just hire a
have
bunch of
big
actors.
tank floats. We don't need real. Just get the float.
Snoopy with a fucking barrel floating down Pennsylvania Avenue.
No, he's got his flight goggles on. He's doing he's
yeah.
in the red plane.
Oh,
I will say,
Yeah.
I have yet to meet a single fucking person who actually, one, wants to / two likes marching.
True.
Yeah.
Across like all the different branches of people I've talked to. Now, granted, not that like we talk about it a whole lot.
I would say be careful because
no
there's probably a JROTC kid that's watching this that really likes marching.
In boot camp, I like
in
marching.
the actually in the military. Once you're in real life, you're like,
yeah, exactly.
I don't give a fuck about this. I want to go home. Like,
I did enjoy it in boot camp because it wasn't something else. Like a lot of the other stuff was worse. And when you got to try some of the fun stuff, it was always chaotic and you bump into each other and shit like that. But I liked marching in boot camp, and then after that, I was glad to never, ever, ever, ever do it again.
Yeah.
And I always laugh when like classes got in trouble, or when I was an instructor at sub school. Those guys have to march to and from everywhere. It's like, I think it's very funny that they have to do that, and I think it does nothing for military bearing or good order and discipline. I think it's just dumb. Like
it lubes the Jade machine very early on.
Yeah, it does.
the amount of kids I saw fucking fall out in Biloxi, Mississippi, because it was August. It's like 110 fucking degrees and 95% humidity. Those kids were fucking dying.
Yeah,
You're not supposed to march it when it's black flag.
True.
No, they don't give a shit. You just
might
march
not
in
ever.
PT gear at that point.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like, oh well, you're gonna become a hot sweaty mess. So change in to your PT gear, and then when you get to class, you change into your regular.
Oh, that is horrible.
This is like fucking stupid. Like,
Because then you're carrying your backpack with your boots and your camis. And...
and you don't have. Okay, some of the times you don't have. I forget what they call them, but like an E4 and E5, like an actual instructor with you. So it's just the kids marching themselves.
Yeah, it's got to be a shit show.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I really want to talk about with the military parade. I think that what we wanted it to be was a display of strength and power, sort of like I was saying, like Cold War Russia and kind of modern day China and North Korea, but it just isn't. It just sucked.
Dude, it was like a small town fucking parade of bigger scale. And also, I want to throw in sponsored by Coinbase.
Was it really?
What the fuck is that?
Oh, you didn't see
I'm
that?
dead serious.
Oh, shit.
It happened
Pull
like
that shit
numerous times where they're like coming by and then it just fades into like sponsored by Coinbase.
Okay, I will put that in.
Special thanks to our sponsor, Coinbase.
I will put that in. It's because it's got to be because of Trump coin, right?
Cryptocurrency is becoming like it's very popular with the MAGA group of people.
Yeah, there's a sign in our town that says MAGA buys Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It doesn't say how to do it, which they would probably need to know.
It doesn't say MAGA buys Trump coin because that seems a little seems like they're missing the mark there, you know?
Yeah, I mean it might be implied. But
I should start trying to sell bags of Trump coins around here. Dude.
Drew, you should.
Oh,
This
well,
would be a great area for it.
Yeah.
Doesn't Texas have not like sponsored, but they have like legal carve outs for power supplying for farms, right?
Yes. Texas is a hotbed for crypto because they can get around some of the expenses and regulations about energy and water consumption. There's more coming in. There's AI farms coming in, and
I remember reading some time ago about like the noise from a farm was like keeping people up at night, and
oh really?
People's like cattle were freaking out because they couldn't sleep, so their like their daily schedule was just getting all fucked up.
Yeah, I can imagine it would have consequences.
Yeah,
but shit, just tell them they're mining Trump coin, and it'll be fine.
Did you
Now,
guys...
I will say before we jump off the parades, one thing I did look up before we jumped on and started talking about this was a president that has. When's the last time anyone has ever seen a military parade like that in the U.S.?
yeah.
I don't remember one.
It probably would have been like after World War II or some shit.
But we tried. We made it a point to not do them.
Oh,
and
really?
So Eisenhower himself even came out and said, "We're not doing that. Absolutely not."
Yeah.
You know,
But
we
he's dead
are
now.
like, he is dead now, so we can
Yeah.
get away with all the parades we want to.
Wow.
But
A lot of people.
it was
are dead.
basically, it was basically that we don't have to do these shows of force
Right.
that all these other countries are doing because we are like the preeminent power.
That's the thing. I think it kind of undermines yourself when it's like the guy that always talks about how big his dick is. Like, it's not that big if you're just gonna always talk about how big it is.
Yeah,
why are you always talking about it?
You're supposed to leave them guessing,
Right?
You know.
Yeah.
Who was it that was speak softly and carry a big stick? Teddy
Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Eddie.
Yeah, there you go. You don't need a parade.
Exactly.
You just need to fuck people up when they get out of line.
And it's almost. I think you're almost better off as a force leaving the mystery. Like, what do they have?
Yeah.
Or what have they had?
That's what happened when Russia started invading
I would say
Ukraine.
this is like Russia's perfect example.
It became very apparent that Russia wasn't what we thought they were.
Exactly.
And so it's in that same vein.
Dude, speaking of which, can we segue this into the fucking drone? I already forgot what they call it. Their fucking super secret, effective drone strike that they did in Russia.
Ukraine
You mean
did?
the drone strike that was so effective because they didn't warn the U.S. before they did it?
Yeah.
So we could tell Russia.
So we didn't tell Russia? Oh my God.
Yeah. So the Ukraine did not, in fact, tell the U.S.
Right.
Because normally countries will like do a little speakeasy and like, hey, just giving you a heads up, I'm gonna attack this military depot with all these planes and stuff, all this expensive military equipment. Well, they didn't tell the U.S., which is why Russia got fucking blindsided by it. And it was an extremely successful drone attack.
Yeah. It took them like a year and a half for all the logistics to like line up and get this shit done.
They took out a lot of bombers, a lot of aircraft.
Like a third of their bombing force. And I think one report I read said like,
dude, just think about how
the depth
fast
that they reached to is equivalent distance from like LA to New York.
Damn.
Like that's how far they managed to reach into Russian land.
How fast would that have ended up on a Hegseth chat channel?
Yeah,
on the signal chat. Yeah,
yeah.
Drones are taking off at 12:30.
Yeah.
Time
Don't
on
check this
target.
truck.
Yeah.
No OBSEC leaks here. We're good to go.
Yep, all good. And I'm gonna add my buddy Vladimir Putin. It's a different guy.
Putin.
He's Canadian.
It's a different guy, but it's close. He might click the wrong contact.
There's an O in there. Don't worry about it. Yeah. No. From some of the reports that I saw, and it's genius. I mean, when it was, they had them on just trucks, like carrier trucks. And yes, but I want to say some of the drivers that are driving through these parts of Russia, I didn't know what cargo they were carrying.
Right.
So these fucking things just fly out of it.
Whoa.
All of a sudden.
Dude, that's
and
wild.
now they're there.
Yeah, that's some Mission Impossible shit.
Yeah, no, I think it's awesome.
Ace Combat.
That is
So
sweet.
I saw a TikTok of
big caveat.
It was a soldier in a
Okay.
trench, and it had that like camouflage netting over the top that has like the weird cuts in it that make it look like wavy.
Okay.
and you could hear a drone like circling overhead, and the guy was like, fuck, because it was like you know that whine that they make,
Man, yeah.
and he was like panicking because he's like, fuck, dude, like I hope it doesn't
Figure out I'm here. See
yeah,
me?
like
Yeah.
I hope this camouflage fucking works. And I was
dude,
like, how
drone warfare is
terrifying must that
so
be?
crazy.
You just
And
hear the little
supposedly
whine, and
Get this
then
on TikTok.
Yeah.
I've got to post this on TikTok.
Yeah.
ASAP.
supposedly, whatever like communication software they use to carry this out is like Ukraine proprietary.
Nice.
Like it's not
for them.
U.S. supplied.
Clearly.
They
We use
it's all
signal.
homegrown shit.
well, have you guys seen that Germany is kind of stepping up since like this year, probably like since Trump got elected, to like be more supportive to Ukraine with less strings attached than what
And
we're
I think
doing?
aren't they
That's
also?
good. I mean, Germany's
upsizing
basically
their
Germany's
military?
entire economy is manufacturing, so they need to get involved somewhere.
Well, and then I think in the same article I read that it's the German military is like the biggest it's been since
Really?
they were disarmed after World War II.
Did you see? So German elections they work kind of funky, and their representation is split up into like 5 major parties, and 2 or more of them have to have a greater than 50% majority to make any reasonable change. And
It's called a coalition.
coalition. And
of the willing.
I think that happened probably when we were on a break from this podcast, but the Conservative Party didn't do nearly as well as they were hoping to do, but they won some seats, and Trump thought it was like a victory because I don't think he understands how German elections work. And put out a tweet about, huge win for us in Germany, and then figure out, you gained no
Taken
power.
down.
Yeah,
After that.
you have essentially lost any voice in the German government, which I think is good, but hopefully they don't fuck it up, because I think the best fuel to the fire for the new conservative wave is just Democrats or progressives doing a bad job or being handed a bad job, and then
Or you see that the Dutch government, quote unquote, fell apart.
no, I didn't see that.
I think that was like the headline that you could see on like BBC or like Reuters or something.
Yeah.
All it meant was the majority necessary like for the coalition dipped down below the necessary amount. So it was like
so that means
it,
they have to bring in
fell
another
apart, and that the
Right.
coalition like
So that means
isn't
the
fully
options they have are to bring in a third party or the other parties group up, right?
Yeah.
And form a coalition. Yeah.
I just remember
Probably
because it was like
just-
somewhere around the same time, and it was like contrast of like, oh, Germany is like getting their shit together, but Dutch is falling apart. Doesn't this sound familiar? And everybody was like overblown.
I feel like that would just trigger like a special election referendum. Just call everybody in to revote.
Well, in Germany, I don't know how it works for the Dutch folks, but for the Germans, if you lose the coalition, you get fucked. You either bring in a third party or they form a coalition without you.
I really think that that's a cool way of doing it.
I agree.
I know New Zealand does that as well.
Yeah.
And it's cool because whichever parties make up the coalition, they're not required.
Yeah, they have to compromise.
They're entitled to like a part of the decision making and the
Right.
seats and the representation. Like it's not just the one. Yeah.
Hey, you break away from the 2 parties, and then like if the 3 sub parties that make up a coalition disagree on shit, well, figure it out, because you're not going to push legislation otherwise. It's a good way to do it. Anything other than the 2 party system is a pretty good way to do it, honestly. But
Forces a compromise.
Yeah.
Of at least a little bit.
No, I like 2 extremes hate fucking each other in front.
That's
of
a good
country.
segue. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the political violence, specifically in Minnesota, that's happened and may continue to happen. Where
Still
the military trained, I don't know, his fucking bio is weird, but a gentleman who worked largely in food services and then private security, dressed up as a police officer, and then shot and killed a Minnesota lawmaker, her husband, and their dog, and shot and did not kill a Minnesota lawmaker and his wife. and got away, and is still got away. And they just recently apprehended his wife, I believe, 75 miles away from where that all happened, with multiple different passports, a whole bunch of cash, and I can't remember everything else that was in the car, but it's pretty fucked that this is happening on American soil in the name of politics.
What was the motivation? Was it a race thing or a right-left thing?
It was a right-left thing.
He had a hit list.
He had a hit list of other
lawmakers.
Yep, other Democratic lawmakers that he was going to get to.
So is a right-wing guy doing it?
Yeah.
To left.
I mean, presumably, we can't say for sure.
Well, I mean, have you seen any like videos that have been posted about him? Because like,
I haven't heard anything about.
He
this,
used to do. I don't know if it counts as like missionary work, but he used to do a whole bunch of like, religiously charged.
Yeah, he's very religious.
Speeches and shit.
Yeah,
and
why some of the people
all the
evangelical,
wickets
kind of guy.
Like he uses like Marxist, communist.
Yeah, this is. I mean, we had this conversation about the New Orleans attack and the Vegas thing. Is like, religion is a very good pathway to radicalization, political or otherwise. And I don't know if this was strictly political. It could have had a religious undertone or maybe even overtone.
There's a lot of anti-abortion stuff.
Anti-abortion stuff was a big part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fucked that's happening. And then meanwhile, I mean, the same day you have a military appreciation, I guess I'll call it, parade. You have an anti-president, or no king protest all over the country. Pretty fucked state that the country is in. And while we were on a break from the podcast, I avoided politics as much as I could. And it's pretty dark time to get back to it. It's like, holy shit, what's happening?
You hear about the one kid in Virginia who like ran over a protest?
Yeah, that was today, right?
Today or yesterday?
Either
I read
today
about
or
it
yesterday.
Today,
yeah, he ran over
it would have happened yesterday.
Right? Like an old man?
No, you got to see the picture of this kid. He's like a string bean.
No, the one that got hit.
Oh yeah.
I think the guy that got hit was like an 80-year-old or something.
Yeah, I think it was an older person.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's where I grew up. That's my hometown.
Really? Damn.
Yeah. Damn. And then if you guys remember, I like had that post a couple of weeks ago about the sheriff who got arrested for like selling fake badges for sheriff badges. That was in the same place.
No shit.
Jesus.
So when I told you,
they're
like,
dialed in.
Yeah, when I've told you in the past, like, hey, I was really motivated to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
These are like inklings to provide evidence for that. You know what I mean?
Crazy. I did also. I guess another thing that we should probably talk about is Israel and Iran are now. I don't know if at war is the right phrase yet, but on their way to war.
Yeah.
Basically.
And I learned. So this is kind of a funny aside, but have you guys ever heard of the Congressional Pizza Index?
Yes.
Oh, but the like amount of pizzas sold will go up near
the busier the pizza
shops means there's some big shit happening in DC because everyone's having to stay late and fucking monitor it.
Yeah, the busier the pizza shops are in and around DC and the more pizza deliveries that go to the Pentagon, it's like a foolproof indicator of insane global
world news. Yeah.
And the pizza index spiked right before Israel struck Iran. For what, I don't know if this is true. Please fact check me if this is wrong. But I heard that this was kicked off by Iran somehow stealing nuclear secrets from Israel. Has that been widely reported?
I feel like at this point it's too early, and that everyone's gonna have their own theories or whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's just.
I would doubt that. I mean, it's possible. It's definitely possible. But I know that Israel, as far as like militarily, their intelligence community is like top notch.
Yeah, it is.
They're spying and they're counter intel. So
I also saw an X post that the IDF made, which was justifying the attack, and it was about the range of Iranian weaponry, and it was like Iran was in the middle of the map, and it was like different colored waves going out, but it wasn't a real map. It was a map from a video game.
Oh, really?
Like the borders weren't right. Yeah, it was.
Ah, shit.
It's not great.
Cut out what I said then.
I mean,
So
the
the
IDF
only-
intelligence community is insane. I think whoever runs
Yeah.
their social media team is probably
Yeah,
not
it's
very
just-
good.
I will say what I've read up on the whole conflict is the whole fact that it's because it's from what Israel is saying, but Israel is saying that it was a preemptive action for them to strike Iran exclusively because they were trying to prevent Iran from continuing to make nuclear weapons.
So that's what I'm reading now.
But there is zero evidence that if
So
they
Iran-
have any, it's not enough for them to publicly release, which I think is probably not great for optics.
For who? For Israel?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's all bad for Israel.
it's all bad optics.
We're
trying to prevent-
Israel still at this point. This attack does not look good. I mean, it hasn't looked good for a long time on the Israel side. I guess
They don't give a shit though.
Yeah, they don't. It's just, and neither does the U.S. I mean, the U.S. kind of for it, which I don't really want to get into Palestine, Israel, but yeah, it's been a pretty bad look for Israel for a while.
Once, if I can butt in, one
pictures
thing
of
I
Gaza
haven't
lately?
seen anything about is like no one seems to have pointed out how like the Iron Dome isn't the Iron Dome made specifically to counteract this shit
In Israel, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Iran's not successfully striking back.
Yeah,
If
Iron
that's what-
Dome's working pretty
yeah.
well at
The U.S. has a bunch
Tel
of
Aviv.
ships. That are shooting down-
Tel Aviv got hit.
Yeah, it has been hit, but it's not. I mean,
could have been hit a lot worse.
they're not having a lot of success striking back, and the
Okay.
U.S. Navy's playing a part, intercepting some of the inbound missiles. But yeah, the Iron Dome
Which I hate.
is there for
that we're-
this. So do
hate
I.
that we're-
Look, man, Earth Cop, World Police,
Cop of the
World
world.
Police.
Cop of the
fucking
world, World
bullshit
Police.
again, over and over and over.
America, fuck yeah, dude.
America.
Yeah,
No,
so
the thing.
this is from NPR. Ahead of the attack, the U.S. and Iran were discussing a deal that would have Iran scale down its nuclear program in exchange for the U.S. to lift sanctions, which would have crippled Iran's economy. Though Iran insists it does not want to create a nuclear weapon, Netanyahu has been adamant that the only way to stop Iran from developing a nuclear weapon is by going to war. The U.S. was set to meet with Iran on Sunday, but Iran says it will not attend the meeting after the Israeli attack. Fair.
But that's like me saying the only way I can prevent a stranger from driving into my driveway is to fucking blow their
You
car
gotta
up.
kill all the strangers.
I gotta kill them. So
Yeah.
Israel's whole thing that they've been doing for a very, very long time is they will essentially decapitate any single person, not physically, but take them out of the equation, so that any program or thing that person is trying to run kind of will die out and dwindle. Israel's
Right.
been doing that for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
They're very good at it. So when
Yeah,
they're
West
targeting-
Bank, Gaza, yeah, everywhere.
yeah, so when they're targeting Iran, they're trying to target these specific facilities that they believe are something, but they're also targeting specific people in the hopes that, neutralizing this one threat will prevent the threat from coming back, which I think, as we have seen for, I don't know, thousands of
I
years.
mean, that was kind of our
But it
plan.
doesn't
that
work.
was how we did
Yeah, War on
Iraq
Terror.
and the whole
Yeah.
Middle East, basically. That's why, like, every 2 months you would read about, oh, we killed the fucking vice president, CEO of the Taliban, or whoever the fuck
Yeah.
we feel like. You know, like-
the president CFO.
Yeah, it just I mean it just builds back up. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
You're not changing ideologies when you take out
Especially religious ideologies
right.
that are very, very, very
And really all
ingrained.
you do is you turn them into martyrs,
Yes,
which I think we learned the hard way a lot of times in the Middle East.
we're still learning.
Yeah.
Religious ideologies that
gonna
are
say nothing's been
thousands of
learned.
years old.
we need
Yeah.
we need the Watchman, dude. We need to summon the fucking extra dimensional squid thing so we can all unify against one.
That is that
One flying spaghetti monster.
a unifying enemy would be helpful. The problem is I think that you couldn't convince everybody. You couldn't even really convince a strong
That's
majority
why-
that it is the enemy.
That's
Yeah.
why I'm like getting on board the UFO conspiracy theory train.
Yeah, I like
Because
that.
if aliens are real and we can like build them up to be like super dangerous, like Independence Day,
Yeah.
that's
So
our
they were
fucking
actually
ticket.
dangerous though, and
But they were
that's the thing.
actually-
They were
Joe,
actually dangerous.
Joe, I like alien conspiracy theory for you. I think that's a good fit.
That is a
Oh, you
really good
think
fit
so?
for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you should just go ahead.
Okay, I just want to be explicit.
first.
I'm not. However,
Come
However,
with your
no,
if
tinfoil
we
hat.
had
Art.
to like do some shit, we can like start building like, hey, we just made the Space Force a couple of years ago. Why do you think that is?
They would probably just pump ChatGPT into the brains of those things and just be like, whatever it says, just do that.
Yeah. That would be a cool government psyop. I'm just saying.
The
It'd be
little,
cooler than chemtrails.
The little bit of that article
the objective
that you read,
of it would be a lot better, in my opinion.
The NPR article?
Yeah, when it said that the sanctions would cripple Iran.
Yeah, Iran's currently flourishing economy would be crippled
if they don't make a deal. But everyone said that our sanctions were going to cripple Russia when they started the war in Ukraine, and they found a way to make it work.
Well,
Iran
it's
has
not really they
allies
found a way. It's
in
kinda...
China and in Russia.
Well, Iran has very rich allies. So does Russia.
I'm not saying they wouldn't be hurting if we put a bunch of sanctions on them, but like we've done sanctions before.
Yeah, I don't think that. I mean, shit. Maybe they were going to take the meeting. Maybe they wouldn't. The Iran nuclear thing has been a main facet of life in the military for the past 20, 30 years, maybe even longer.
I remember talking about it when Obama was president.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, we're going on like 80 years at this point.
Yeah, I guess that's true all told.
Have you guys seen the, because there's speculation, no evidence, that President Trump will try to amend whatever rules he can to be able to run again.
Right.
After this term. People are talking about it. Who knows? But people who are against that idea are like, okay, well, if you're going to change the rules, then we'll just have Barack run again.
Oh.
Because...
Good point.
Well,
Barack versus Trump?
The sentiment in the country, I think, is that Barack is fine.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would be happy to have Barack Obama back.
I agree.
Because I don't know where it originally originated from. I know Steve Bannon is a big name that has popped up with that.
Yeah,
but
the rule would be
the way it was
intentionally
written. Yeah, right. It's consecutive.
Yeah.
So if you have served 2 consecutive, you would be excluded from it.
Yeah,
yeah,
I think
that's because that's their
But I don't think. I mean, if it's not a short notice, I think anyone would probably win. I think
they should have ran a full on
campaign
instead of
a full primary.
A full primary.
Yeah,
instead of just handing it down and fucking stepping away.
Yeah,
it should have been.
Have you seen the election interference stuff? The new stuff? I hate this.
I was just about to ask you guys what you thought about that.
So
yeah,
it is interesting. I don't really care about it.
Nothing's going to change.
Nothing will change. I also think that even if you could prove that the election was swung somehow, which I don't think that would be significant enough to swing the election. I mean, it was kind of a landslide. I don't think it changes anything.
Yeah, what do you think? He's just gonna be like, oh, yep, you caught me. I'll just step aside.
I don't think. I mean, there might be processes in place. I don't think Kamala becomes president.
Let's impeach him again. See if it works this time.
Yeah, and again, we're not going to push an impeachment through this.
Not going to work
through this government. But I do think it's interesting. There are multiple counties where every single person that voted for the Democratic local leader, senator, whatever was up, 0 of them voted for Kamala.
Yeah.
Which is quite an anomaly. I don't know if I know enough about stats to say it's truly impossible, but 0 is wild.
I promise you know enough about stats to say that it's fucking nuts. I promise you.
I mean, I know it's nuts. I don't know that it's impossible, but it is. It is interesting.
There's a saying on the left wing of politics to vote blue no matter who, and a lot of people do that.
Yeah. Well, people do it on the right too.
Yeah, but it's a saying.
Yeah,
it's like more of a saying on the left.
For the right side, it's an unspoken rule. You do
right.
it.
Yeah, that's just what you do. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, people that would vote for a Democrat local leader who would have more impact on their life and then not vote for a Democratic president are probably a little weird and probably the outlier. And so to have multiple instances where full counties of those people are not only the majority, but the only
county
people
of
that
outliers.
exist. Yeah. It is odd. But again, I I think it's only interesting to figure out like what happened and who had a role and to what extent. I don't think it really changes anything, and I don't really care that much about it. It's just like I don't think that like this should be taken as seriously as Trump's claims were, in that they're fully investigated. With publish a report, whatever, gather all the evidence and then figure it out. But I don't think it should become a big deal certainly before then.
I just hate where we are now, which is that if there is a question about the integrity of the election, most of us are just like, well, what are you going to do about it? There's nothing you could do.
True. We are.
And I hate that we're there now.
And Elon has not helped, by the way, with what has happened in the fallout of him and Trump.
He hasn't? Are you shitting me?
But I mean, this specific thing.
He's the smartest man in the world.
Saying things like he wouldn't have won the election if it weren't for me, and him claiming to know what the actual margins would have been.
And then him backtracking and fucking on his knees, like what was it, like 4 days ago?
That's a bad look for that side. And I don't know who has more swing at this point. I don't know if more people are going to follow Elon or follow Trump in the breakup.
Here's what sucks.
Definitely Trump.
Definitely
yeah.
Trump.
But here's what sucks. We have so many people that are like regular thinking American citizens that are like, huh, this is weird. And then
I would say
75%
of people are like that.
I'd think it's a little lower.
But the overwhelming majority of people are not political nuts.
Yeah. So you vote based on, credibility, accountability, ownership, like actual data points.
I don't think that the people who aren't political nuts are voting that way. I think people still vote on party lines regardless of whether they feel good about it or not.
I like to believe that isn't true. I like to.
Yeah.
But I also am probably a little more
And also
optimistic.
most people don't vote. I mean, most people don't vote.
It was
that is true.
34% of the available population?
It was under 40% of the voting eligible population.
Somewhere around a third of eligible voters actually did. So
I think to make any meaningful change, that number's got to go up at least double.
Well, of course it does.
It has to. I really don't know the machinations that have to happen.
I mean, you have to make it a federal holiday. That's step one.
Yep.
You have to make it. I mean, people can't. So many people cannot work and vote, and that should be immediately made not a thing.
That flies in the face of capitalism. We have to work.
Yeah, capitalism is the number one religion in this country. Yeah. Capitalism and then Christianity.
Yeah. In other countries, it's mandatory that you have to vote.
I don't like that system. I don't think it should be mandatory. But I do think that it should be made overwhelmingly available.
What, Australia does that? Where it's compulsory?
I think if you can prove that you voted, at least for the presidential ballot, that you should get a nice little tax break or something.
I think so too. I think there should be some kind of actual incentive.
Some incentive. Like, hey, if you can prove...
Money talks.
Then you get...
It really does.
You can do it for companies too. If a company can show that 100% of their workforce voted, give them a break. Tax break.
Or they at least gave them a day off,
right?
Or made
It feels dangerous.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also
because I think that people who aren't voting don't know anything about what's happening, nor do they care to.
But educated voters aren't always better voters, because educated voters now is educated on what? Facebook.
Maybe.
Here's
but then you're asking people who don't give a shit to.
This is truly how I think you fix elections in America.
Yeah, that kind of already happens in what we were saying earlier, that people will go along their party line anyway.
Yeah, I think that ballots have to have names and party affiliation
by default.
There should be no names, no party affiliation. Every candidate should have to pitch 5 or 6 topics that they care about most or campaigned on the most, and then say a blurb about what their stance is. And that's what people should vote on. That's it. You don't see who said it. You don't see what party line. You vote on their opinions in totem. And that's it. And whoever wins, wins. And that's the opinion you agreed with, either on purpose or on accident.
I think we need to set up a Hunger Games scenario. And it's the death. But,
For the candidates, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's talking about the voters.
Oh,
No, if you want to vote, you've got to
Yeah,
fucking
you
enter
gotta
the gauntlet.
No, I think it's
get in the Coliseum, dude.
I think it's a trial by combat kind of thing, and if you're the last one standing, then you're president.
Yeah, but it has to be only manual stuff. No guns, no drones, no. You get it's Hunger Games. You get bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Throw some stones.
Right.
And hide good.
Poison?
Yeah,
Hide
poison. Why
good.
not?
Yeah. I think that's what we need to do. Yeah.
I nominate Francis Ngannou as my champion.
Can't, dude. He's Nigerian.
I don't give a shit.
You gotta pick a different heavyweight.
First of all, he's not Nigerian. He's Cameroon. So, good job, racist. Not even the right country.
Good,
But he definitely comes out with the Nigerian flag on his next to his name.
That's Kamaru Usman.
I know Kamara does it too.
He does it in support of Kamaru because they're him.
Okay.
Israel Adesanya and Kamaru Usman used to be the African
Yes,
UFC champs. That was like the circle they were running with. He's from Cameroon.
All right, fair. I don't think that makes me a racist, but
I don't care if he was born in Africa. Obama was born in.
Oh, here we go.
I'm just kidding,
Show
guys.
me Francis Ngannou's birth certificate.
Show me his birth certificate.
Dude, I don't
Have you
give a
guys
fuck.
seen?
He swam. He walked across half of Africa, swam from Morocco to France.
Oh, he's a badass dude.
Or sorry, Spain, and then traveled to France. I can't fucking do that.
Have you guys seen?
I don't give a fuck.
Bad News Bears.
Yeah,
with
with
Billy
Yeah.
Bob Thornton.
Billy Bob Thornton. Yeah.
And the big Latino pitcher comes out and he hands the
That's the
piece of paper.
That's the
That's
bench
the
warmers.
warmers.
Yeah, that's bench warmers. I am
That's bench
12.
warmers.
Bad News Bears is
Hey.
isn't that Cujo?
I thought that was.
What's the
I
dog?
thought that was Bad News Bears. It was bench warmers.
That's
Yeah,
definitely
bench warmers.
Okay,
It's
sorry.
got,
Bench warmers. No,
the
you're
dude
good.
Yeah,
in the
he's like,
point
I
guard.
am 12.
I am
That's
12.
what.
I am
That's
12.
what Francis
and like
Ngannou does.
$20 in it.
Yeah.
I am American.
Yeah.
Birth certificate looks good. Play ball.
Great news, guys. I'm not afraid of the sun anymore. Oh yeah, how's the moon treating you? Not a fan. I love the bench
was
warmers,
that?
dude.
Was that Napoleon Dynamite? Who said that in that movie?
No, it's Nick Swartzen.
Nick Swartzen, the guy that's eating the sunblock under the tables. Yeah.
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 The first time I ever saw that when I can't remember which character does it, but when he's going home and he trips and crawls and then goes to touch home plate, I about pissed my pants laughing, dude. Anything else? Any big military news that I missed? Michael's usually better at this than me, but we can talk about the hearings next time. We can talk about I gotta do a deep dive into what all was said to Hegseth and that whole.
Do you see the guy that told Hegseth he just needs to get the hell out?
Get the hell out! Yeah, that was pretty epic.
Yeah.
I know what happened. I haven't actually.
He said, "I don't have time for you today."
To be clear, I mean that's my least favorite thing about politics right now. Is he asked, "Is it a requirement to be loyal to Trump to serve in the military?" And any Department of Defense, any human on Earth should very easily say, "Of course not." You need to be loyal to the things that you swear an oath to, the Constitution, protect our nation. Loyalty to the president does not matter. But he couldn't say no.
Couldn't.
Yeah.
Dude, just say no. You say, "Of course not."
Who got fired?
Yeah.
You wouldn't have. I don't know if we got fired.
Did
Trump
any of you
likes to
guys
fire
see the,
people.
Yeah, he does.
You fired.
Did any of you guys see the part where they're asking how much it would cost to refit that fucking plane
Yeah.
from
No, I didn't
Qatar?
see that one.
I haven't seen the whole clip.
I saw stuff about it. I didn't watch the
Okay,
actual
yeah, 'cause
dialogue.
he's like,
but-
how much would it cost? And he's like, well, I can't say. He's like, well, we are
Right.
the appropriations.
I can't tell
committee.
you.
Like, we are
Yeah.
the ones who give that out. So like, we
Right.
need the number.
Yeah.
If you could tell anybody, it would be
And
us.
obviously, they're going to provide that number at some point. But it's very nice and clear for people in the
Yeah,
United
say
States.
it to the public.
To hear
Say
a
it to the
fucking
public
number.
right now. Yeah.
Tell me the fucking number.
Because isn't the floating estimate like 400 million or some shit like that?
What are they trying to retrofit it to?
They got to
It's not-
do like security
For what- yeah,
things
security
and like
checks and
okay.
whatnot. 'Cause
rewire
apparently-
it for all the.
Yeah,
The
it's like an
comms and shit.
outdated
Oh,
plane
yeah, all
that
the
was
shit.
just sitting on a runway for like years and years. Like it's not even state of the art, let alone like secure. So
We're just doing the quid pro quos out in
Majority of
open
the
now.
military.
When
isn't
when
state of
Trump
the
was
art.
asked about it, he turned
Yeah.
it into a golf analogy too. I'm trying to remember exactly what he said. You guys, did you see that?
did he say
When they
No,
were
I
like,
missed
"Do you
that
think it
part.
sets a bad precedent to accept gifts from foreign leaders?"
Yeah.
He said
Of course
something
not.
about something that Sam Snead said. Let's see if I can find it real quick.
I caught a clip of a Hegesth hearing where they asked him if a federal court ruled one way, if he would, even if it wasn't what he wanted, if he would comply with the court's order, and he couldn't say yes.
Oh my God.
They're like, if a judge rules, would you,
Yeah.
And he couldn't say yes.
I found it. He said, old Sam Snead had a motto. When they give you a putt, you say, thank you very much. You pick up your ball and you walk to the next hole. A lot of people are stupid. They say, no, I insist on putting it. Then they putt it, they miss it, and their partner gets angry at them.
Yeah,
that's the analogy for him accepting a $400 million
plane.
Yeah. From a Middle Eastern country. Yeah.
With horrible track record for human rights.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do we need them or do they need us? Which one?
But we need the jet.
We have needed them for a very long time, and I think we continue to purposefully need them. But
yeah,
I mean, we intentionally don't invest.
We
much
have
in renewables.
A base in Qatar.
True.
At least one. I know we have at least one because every time I get on the fucking talent marketplace, that is the only fucking place the Air Force would willingly send me on a TDY/deployment.
You should
Qatar.
go. You should go.
Yeah,
absolutely.
If you go to Qatar, I'll go to Baghdad.
Then we can meet
I'll
up.
go to Kiev.
That job offer
somewhere in Saudi Arabia.
Maybe you can get a condo on Fight Island, dude.
There you go.
Just have a big long commute to work.
Is Fight Island over there? Fight Island was over there, was it?
It's somewhere over there.
It was in the UAE, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I did tell my wife, if worse comes to worse, I could just go work in Baghdad. It's not that far of a drive.
Don't go to Baghdad. Go to Tehran.
No, I got offered a job in Baghdad. So.
Tel Aviv. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not talking about the fight. He's talking about to be a nuke.
I'm talking about being having a career. I got offered a job in Baghdad, to which I replied.
PMC.
Did you see my no relocation?
Yeah, I've heard stories a long time, even when I was in the military, about nukes getting offered Middle Eastern jobs to go be plant operators and plant supervisors, and they give you a house and big 6-figure salaries and anything you could want. But the drawback is you live in the Middle East.
I'm in Baghdad.
Yeah.
You do it for 5 or 6 years and bank up, and then you just come back home.
Right.
They
they certainly don't all have reactors, but some countries do, and it's not always nuclear power plants either.
Okay.
Oh no, I was talking about apparently that's the thing for the UAE or Dubai or whatever. People will go over there to do that.
We have Aegis. You guys know what Aegis is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have Aegis ashore sites in Romania and in Poland.
Ooh, Poland.
And you can go there.
Nice.
And they do the same thing. They give you. Anyways.
They put you up in a house. But do you own it?
I don't think so. I think you get that. But it's your military pay is so valuable there because it's fucking Romania. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you take one of those operator jobs in the Middle East, you own a house there now. Yeah.
And probably have people working
in
your house.
Yeah. I mean, they are big enough to get people to go do it.
You can buy an abandoned putt-putt in Romania pretty cheap, I'm pretty sure.
Now that's a good YouTube channel. That's a YouTube channel. Yeah. We're dodging bombs and trying to mortar in a cup in place. Obviously, Romania is not going to be.
You're putting from cover. You're like.
Yeah, we should start a company where we do what's a good example? Putt humanitarian aid, and we'll build putt courses on shipping containers. And just send them to Baghdad and Tel Aviv and Gaza. Hey, you guys, I know you're getting bombed. I know it's warfare. Would you like to play some mini golf?
Here's a 3-hole for you.
It's a 3-hole mini golf course. Look, and the clown will eat your ball every fucking time.
Yeah, clown face that opens its mouth. So either
you'll never get through the windmill.
It spits it back out at you.
He's laughing. He's having a good time. Bombs going off in the back. It would be like the scene when he goes with Chubbs and California has an earthquake. It'd be like that. For real. Yeah.
Does that happen?
That would be a sick hole play.
Yeah, that's when he learns how to do the Plinko style putt. He hits it off the Hollywood sign and it falls down a light pole and all kinds of shit. But yeah, that's after he beats up the clown.
Okay.
You're gonna die, clown.
You're gonna die, clown.
God, all right, boys, we're gonna wrap it there.
That's a good place to end it.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. Then we'll pick it back up in, I don't know, 2 weeks or so. Hopefully not 60 days. I think we can start doing some more.
I think we can cut it a little shorter.
Do less than 60 days from now, another episode will come out.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys later.
Bye, everyone.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Like and subscribe.